Evan Roberts, Craig Carton, all the way to nothing. Absolutely nothing. At 6:30 tonight. Phone number to join, as always, 877-337-6666. Here we are. This is called The Day Before. That's what this is called. You've got 24 hours to enjoy your family, 24 hours to enjoy your wives, your husbands, your children, because tomorrow night it's on like Donkey Kong. Do the Mets put aside their poor finish to the season, their September swoon, and make everybody forget about it? Or do we have a story on Monday about one of the greatest collapses in New York sports history? Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, kid?
I'm excited.
Nervous or excited?
Oh, very nervous.
You got to be, right?
Very, very.
I appreciate that very much,
As
actually.
the day goes on, and certainly when I wake up tomorrow, those nerves will reach a fever peak. But because you got to remember, we haven't had a playoff game featuring the New York Mets in 6 years.
By the way, I mean, it's been a bit since we had a playoff game that mattered in New York City. Right? You
That's
know,
a
the
good
Yankees
point.
last year played
You're
at Fenway Park.
And the year before that was the kind of the neutral site thing.
Right. So it's been a bit since now
2019.
obviously the Nets were in the playoffs. You know, the Islanders made that great run. I'm not discounting what those teams did.
Rangers next.
As far as Rangers last year getting to the Eastern Finals. But for the sport that is the most important in New York for the last 100 years, baseball, it's been a minute.
It has.
Since we had a home playoff game. And obviously we're going to get a couple of them this weekend out of the Mets. And on Tuesday we start off with the Yankees, but I get it. Like, there's an anticipation right now that's building. Now, thank God we have some NFL football tonight, because I don't know what a lot of you guys would do if you had to get through tonight, with the girlfriends, the wives, the kids, with nothing at all to do before the Mets start what you hope, knock on wood, is a run into November.
You don't think we baseball hooligans could take one day without baseball?
Or
really?
football. No, I don't. Because it's nervous energy right now. Like all the talk, you're the first guy that brought up the conversation, to your credit, of what would the Mets do in regards to how you allot your starting pitchers for what is a best-of-3 series,
right,
and how you use them to your benefit. Obviously, you've got two knockout aces, although they weren't against Atlanta. You know what we're talking about. Scherzer and DeGrom and Scherzer. Who gets game one?
Right.
Who do you hold back to either, close out a series in game 3,
right,
save the series in game 2? And they've decided, I don't think anyone's upset with this, that Max Scherzer gets the ball in game 1. And then based on what happens, obviously if they lose game 1, DeGrom's pitching game 2. If you win game 1, you've got options.
I got to remind everybody something. This is the first real year, where we have this thing called a wild card series. This is brand new.
And I love it.
A best of 3.
And it does appear like everybody loves it. It appears that way.
I'm not going to get
least.
into that discussion right now about if I love it or not. I just want everyone to remember something. This is brand new. Yes, 2020, we had a wild card series. It was a little different, very weird season. There were no fans in the building. The whole thing was very different. So this essentially is the first time we've had a series like this. So strategies are new. So if anyone brings up what they would have done with 2 aces 20 years ago, you can politely tell them that's irrelevant. There never was a best-of-3 series.
Right.
This is new.
Hell, last year is one game.
Right.
You got one
shot. We had a wild card game for a decade. We had a best-of-5 divisional series, obviously, which we still have, a best-of-7. This is different because unlike those other series, you're plotting your best pitcher to start early so they can pitch again.
Right.
In a best-of-3, they only pitch once. So before everybody makes their mind up on if they like the strategy or if they hate the strategy, 2 things. Number 1, don't use the phrase "stop being cute." It's already cliched out. It's not being
Who's
cute.
saying that?
I've heard like 50 different people say it. Stop being too cute.
But
What is too cute about it?
What's cute about starting a guy that's arguably the best pitcher in baseball?
Well, I think it's more the aspect of holding off the second guy depending on what happens in game 1.
I don't think it's being cute. I think it's being smart that you're
Exactly.
playing the long game where, assuming the Mets win, and they may not, obviously, but if the Mets win game 1 with Scherzer, the idea, of course, is we can always go to DeGrom when we need to.
Exactly.
So you pitch Bassett in game 2, and then, of course, you know the deal. If you win game 2, you're guaranteeing that Jake can pitch multiple times in the second round.
100%.
Correct?
You
Game
would have
1
yourself.
and Game 5.
And that's not, by the way,
How's that
is
being
not
cute?
thinking about the divisional series prior to the wild card series. It's not. Because if you need Jacob deGrom in this series, he's going to pitch.
Right. The only difference would be then if you need him, it means you lost Game 1.
Right.
And then you're setting yourself up that Chris Bassett would be your make or break starter.
That's what people.
In Game 3.
Those against this idea, they would say just go Max, Jake, and then Bassett. You're getting the same 3 guys either way. You're getting the same pitchers. Cookie Carrasco ain't starting a game.
No.
Taijuan Walker's not starting a game.
Well, the only difference would be, again, this is the silly thought process. If you go Max and Jake, Bassett doesn't pitch, you never get to a Game 3 because you win 1 and 2.
Right, but
right, and
the
then
point
Bassett
is,
pitches Game 1 of the NLDS.
I understand. The point is, there's no scenario, unless Jake's hurt, where Jacob deGrom is not pitching in a postseason game for the New York Mets. Hopefully, his next start will be Game 1 of the divisional series. If they lose Game 1 of the wild card series, he pitches Game 2. If they win Game 1, he won't pitch Game 2. If they need him in Game 3, he pitches in Game 3. It's actually really basic thought by Buck Showalter, and I think what we need to get used to, everybody, is that this format is brand new. Don't base it on anything from the past because there's nothing from the past.
I mean, the only thing I would consider that I think is worthy of a conversation, and I think it's like picking who your favorite kid is, right? Is Jet better than Spence? Is Spence better than Jet? Like, your love is the same for both of them. They're your children, right? You could argue who should pitch Game 1.
I'll tell you why.
Right?
I'll tell you why Max Scherzer's the guy.
Good.
I have an answer for that.
But I'm saying it's at least a conversation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. The reason why, in my opinion, and I guess Buck's opinion, Max Scherzer should pitch Game 1 is that he has an ability, and he's done it before, to come back on short rest. Jacob deGrom has never done that, nor do I expect them to ask him to do that. Max Scherzer, many, many times, has pitched on short rest. Now, it hasn't been short rest start. A lot of it's been bullpen short rest start or short rest bullpen. But nevertheless, Max Scherzer has pitched on 2 and 3 days rest. And Max starting Game 1 gives you the opportunity in the divisional series, based on how the way things play out, if you could advance, to use him on short rest. You don't have that ability with deGrom. So both guys are going to pitch if needed. There's nothing to worry about in that regard. And if things go well and the Mets actually win 2 straight games, guess what? You've got deGrom in Game 1 of the divisional series and Scherzer in Game 2 of the divisional series. What a concept.
Yep.
What the hell is possibly wrong with that?
Nothing.
There's nothing about being too cute. It's a best-of-3 format. It's brand new, and Buck's right. And if Buck didn't do this, as I said to you a week ago, whenever we talked about it, I'd be the one criticizing, saying, hey, why don't you do this?
I mean, to me, there's only one controversy right now with the New York Mets, and that's not it. You know what it is. You probably don't want to get into it. And I think I want to be clear. I want to make my point clear in this before I'm yelled at or people jump down my throat. I think it's ridiculous. But it is out there. It is being debated across America right now. And I think it's silly. I think it's unwarranted. But there is a major controversy with the New York Mets right now. And I hope that over the course of the next 4.5 hours, we can put it to rest, Evan, if you'll allow me to do that. I know your take's going to be. I know my take. I said so much on the air yesterday or the day before. But I guess I got to bring it to you because it's out there and we can't hold back at things that might be hard for you to talk about.
Go ahead.
You know, Freddie Freeman played yesterday. Freddie Freeman went 3 for 4 yesterday. Freddie Freeman was trying to win a batting title yesterday. Jeff McNeil, while he did make an appearance in the game yesterday, didn't play yesterday, therefore protecting his very slim lead over Freddie Freeman to win a batting title. There are those out there that find that to be objectionable. I am not among those people.
Right.
I think it's great. He played, how many at-bats did he have this year? Whatever the number was, a lot.
I think he played his most games of his career. I think he played 142, 143 games this year.
So, to me, he earned the title. But the image of that is bothering a lot of people nationally right now. Well, and I just thought maybe we would address it.
They could all kiss my ass. Here's the reality.
Yeah, and he's not Ted Williams.
Jeff McNeil needed to play every single day during this stretch run and is one guy who showed up every single day and produced every single day.
He sure did produce.
The Mets did not play an irrelevant baseball game until game 162. every game. I know the first half of game 161 was relevant, and then by the fifth inning, we knew it was irrelevant, and you saw Buck started taking guys out.
As soon as Atlanta beat the Marlins 2-1, bang.
So the Mets had only one day. The Dodgers have had a month, maybe 2 months. The Mets have had one day to rest their guys. To me, my priority is making sure Pete Alonso was rested. Did Pete Alonso play yesterday?
He did not.
Okay. Jeff McNeil did not play yesterday.
He came in, in the eighth inning?
He came in to replace Francisco Lindor.
Replacement,
so Lindor could get a nice ovation from the 500 people at Red City Field yesterday. That, to me, is the priority. I'm glad he won the batting title. Good for him. If the Mets had played meaningless games for the last 3 weeks, maybe it's a different discussion. Maybe I wouldn't have a different opinion, but whatever. The priority yesterday was resting guys so that they can be ready for Friday night.
I agree.
And Jeff McNeil won the batting title, and here's why. If you watched him over the last month of the year, all he did was hit. He's the one guy who went to Atlanta and didn't wilt under the pressure. One guy, and that was Jeff McNeil. So Jeff McNeil won the batting title. He deserved an off day yesterday. And like I said to you earlier, Jeff McNeil played more games this season than any year of his major league career. I got to make sure he's ready and rested to go 3 for 4 against Yu Darvish on Friday night.
He's definitely going to be well rested. Of course, they have the day off today. There's a bunch of media stuff happening today. If anyone says anything that we think you need to hear, obviously we're going to bring it to you throughout the afternoon. I know Buck talks at 6. Some of the other guys, Pete and Francisco, I think, talk throughout the afternoon. I did like the story, though, that at some point, I guess before the season started, Francisco Lindor said to Jeff McNeil, hey, listen, if you win a batting title, I'll buy you a car. And that came back to roost yesterday when the reporters asked him. And apparently, as the story now goes, McNeil has reminded him throughout the season.
I'm sure he has.
Hey, just a reminder, if it happens, it may not. But if it happens, you gave me your word, you're going to buy me a car. So Lindor yesterday says, he's been reminding me, I owe him a car, I'm going to buy him a car. But he never said what kind of car.
Come on, Francisco.
So Francisco's got $300 million guaranteed coming his way.
Yeah.
I hope he buys him a little nothing car.
Oh, come on.
Like a Yugo, a Volkswagen, I don't know, a Hyundai.
The guy.
Yeah.
The guy.
You don't buy him a Bentley, right?
No, buy him a Bentley.
No, I think you got to go the other way.
Why?
Buy him a little $9,000 car.
What I do love about this is that last year they were choking each other out in the locker room and had to make up a fake story to hide it. And here we are a year and a half later, and it's kumbaya between Jeff McNeil and Francisco.
Yeah, it's a great
Lindor.
story. And Francisco, when telling the story yesterday, I thought was humbled and did a very good job and showed you that obviously they do get along. Listen, we got lots to do today. Later today, we'll go over the NFL game tonight. It's not the greatest matchup on paper, but it's an NFL game. That's all that matters. Plus, the guys will give you some picks a little bit later on. We got plenty of baseball. We have some Jets news and some Giants news. Some of it is good. Some of it is bad. That's all coming up this afternoon as well. It's Carton and Roberts on the Fan.